I'm Kevin Klein. Let's talk Winnipeg about a situation that has been ongoing in our city for far, far too long without any level of government taking any action. Lots of talk, very little action. Recently at City Council, the mayor and his members of council that sit on the EPC and others voted to delay a report that would see the City of Winnipeg provide a $400,000 grant to the Main Street project for their outreach van. This van is really important, and I talk about why it's important at Council. I also wanted to share the math of why this makes sense from a financial perspective and from a human being perspective. Why it's better to have the outreach van doing the work that they're doing than having the Winnipeg Police or the Winnipeg Fire paramedics doing that work. I pleaded with my colleagues and I asked them to give just a small percentage of some money that they were just given. Well, here's what I said.
I think we all know, but let's go over this list just in case what the Main Street project outreach van does. It visits those in crisis who are on the streets and need support. It visits those in crisis that may have taken refuge in bus shelters that need support. It provides harm reduction supplies to residents who are experiencing difficulties at this time. It provides transportation back to shelter. It's a volunteer transport for the Winnipeg Police Service and the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service at no cost. Encampment response, monitoring, and support when the city asks for it at no cost. Protective care, connection to other Main Street services, including COVID-19 isolation services, and they do all this, Madam Speaker, for free. All of it is done for free. The Main Street has told us, and did tell us, months ago, that a lack of such funding will result in a reduction of service from its outreach van program. And such a reduction of service will result in increased cost to the City of Winnipeg through the uses of resources from the Winnipeg Police Service and the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service. So all of the advocates that we talk about internally and so on should know that this is costing us thousands and thousands of dollars. Yet, how do we know that? Well, let's do a quick math session. The Main Street project operates their van program 24 hours a day for $800,000 per year. That's equivalent to $91.32 per hour. Main Street has requested $400,000. That's the equivalent of $45.66 an hour. $45.66 an hour. Please remember that number. And that would be in funding from the City of Winnipeg for running an outreach van with 2 caseworkers or outreach workers in downtown Winnipeg on a 24-hour basis. Okay, so that will cost us, on average, $45.66 an hour. Now, without the Main Street van in operation, I guess the mayor's gone to get a calculator. Without the Main Street van in operation, the Winnipeg Police Service and Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service respond at a much greater cost to the city. 2 constables and a cruiser car is at least $285.60 per hour. That is over 6 times the available rate from the Main Street project. The work performed by Main Street is highly specialized and has demonstrated strong success within the local community. The City of Winnipeg Charter states that the purpose of the City 5(1)(d) includes to promote and maintain the health, safety, and welfare of its inhabitants. And the efforts of the Main Street project directly complement that purpose. On November 26th of 2020, Council adopted the Recreation and Library Facility Investment Strategy, which included allocating $7 million to each councillor's Land Dedication Reserve Fund to be used at their discretion on projects. This was distributed equally to all 15 councillors for over 3 years. Therefore, I am asking that we stand united, we stand together, as opposed to being one group against another group, and say, we can come up with $400,000. And I am asking you to join me today in approving that the grant be funded to the Main Street Project van through a reallocation of $26,670 from each of the 15 electoral awards portions of the $7 million in land dedication reserve funding that we all approved. We need to do this. It's costing us money, it's costing us resources, and it's not respectful to the residents that need help. Main Street knows how to deal with this, gives people dignity, respects individuals, and is a more efficient and effective means, and of course cost efficient, than using Winnipeg Police Service or Winnipeg Fire Paramedics. You will make the decision. Hopefully you will make it based on your own thought and not on that of somebody else. Think about what this will do for the city. Think about the money it will save. I'm asking you for a unanimous vote on this because it's what our city needs right now.
Well, after I spoke, a lot of my colleagues got up and spoke. This is what I said to refute their comments.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I thank all my colleagues for their comments. I want to go over some of them. A special thank you to Councillor Rowlands and Gilroy for their kind words, but it's not necessary. I see this as my job as to provide solutions and alternative solutions. I want to recognize also that both Councillor Rowlands and Gilroy do provide a lot of funding to groups within their wards. But I also want to acknowledge that the residents of Charleswood-Tuxedo-Westwood, because it's not my money, have provided funding to the Bear Clan, to Kakaganiche, and also to the Tuxedo Family Resource Center. We provided thousands of dollars to an Indigenous men's circle that takes place in the North End that helps men find their way, helps them overcome stress and anger and anxiety. And recently provided over $50,000 to the Oak Park High School students who banded together last year to take their funding that they raised for their grad to build a healing circle classroom outside in Charleswood. This is their initiative. I think it's the first one of its kind. And the group of students doing this come from all walks of life. So the residents of Charleswood-Tuxedo-Westwood, like all residents of the city, are concerned with what is happening in our city. Councillor Rowlands talked about other cities and what they're doing, and rightfully so. A lot of them are doing great things. What is the difference between them and us? Well, they take action. They get things done. And Councillor Gillingham had mentioned that he would certainly support the next motion that comes, or the report when it comes, if it's temporary assistance. That's what this is, temporary assistance. It's just asking for it one time. And it's about 15% of what you're going to get. And I'm sure if you're going to vote no to this, like I heard many of you say, then of course you will not be hypocritical and you'll vote no to the other motions that are coming before us that are requesting LDR funding that are outside the rules. Because surely you can't vote for one and not the other, because that would be odd. Councillor Gillingham mentioned we need a plan. We do. I agree. And many councillors have been on council now, this is their second, some third term. So where's the plan? What's been happening? We talked about the fact that I heard people talk about the fact that, yes, this needs to be addressed. Yes, we have to help this group, but we need to get it into the budget. And, well, every one that I heard from is on the budget working group. Why didn't you do it? You've been on the budget working group for more than 2 years. Why didn't you do it then? Listen, if the Main Street continues with their project, again, here's simple math. 2,000 hours of responses will cost $92,000. If the police or fire paramedics do, it will cost $520,000. Just weeks ago, PP&D approved more funding for a city-built project, for a project that we're building, which 80% of that more funding of almost $200,000 is going to be given back to the City of Winnipeg to cover overhead, administrative fees, permits, because we have to build something. Well, we got to get permits. Lord knows how long that might take to get them. But is that the right use of money? Is that what you're going to stand for today and say no to helping individuals in our community? Because we have a Bloomberg initiative. Well, the Bloomberg initiative would almost talk to this, as well as Councillor Gillingham saying social services have to respond. The Main Street van is the right group to respond. They're trained professionals. And Councillor Santos was right. They're doing overnight, but they're not doing daytime and evenings. So stop calling them. So when the City of Winnipeg picks up the phone and calls Main Street to help out because of some situations going on, stop. Because you're not helping them. You're not paying them. Please give them a little bit of money for the services that they provide to inebriated individuals. Doesn't cover their cost. Go to my website, folks. I interviewed the director of Main Street. He put it all out there, not me. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about adding what could be $120 million or more for sewer and water charges in the airport vicinity. Just like that. Out of the blue, kind of. All of a sudden, we got more money to put there. Although our debt has doubled, almost tripled. And we can't help them. We can't take this one step and take 15% of that money and help do the right thing. I mean, this is your moment. This is your moment. Because we often will play the caring card at this council. Actions speak louder than words. Reports are not going to help anybody on the street. Reports are not going to ensure that we're treating people with dignity, because we know how afraid they are when a police car pulls up. Many of you could have come outside this morning when I was out there trying to help an individual who was frightened because they had to call police. And I sat there with them to make sure he wasn't afraid. Can't call Main Street to help the gentleman because they won't come because they don't have the funding. Right now they get their funding from some funding from government. They get a lot of funding from private individuals in this city. My residents, the residents of Charleswood-Tuxedo-Westwood, have told me this is the best use of money, in their opinion. They want to see people get help now, not when a report comes. So again, I urge you to support this. It's a one-time thing. One time. This is your chance. Because if you vote no because it's LDR funding, everyone will be watching to see what's next. Because we heard many platforms practice here today. What will you do? What will you do? I'm hoping you'll support the residents that need our help.
Those opposed, please rise.
Councillors Rollins, Orlico, Lukes, Santos, His Worship Mayor Bowman, Councillors Brawadi, Chambers, Eadie, Gillingham, Gilroy, Mays.
Did you record Councillor Allard's vote?
I didn't receive
Councillor
a response.
Allard? Councillor Allard?
I'd like to vote no.
That would be, okay. Yes.
And Madam Speaker, Councillor Sharma and Councillor Allard.
The vote, Madam Speaker, yeas 3, nays 13.
Well, everyone is welcome to their opinion. But meanwhile, we're going to be paying thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to respond to individuals in crisis. And those individuals are going to be met with uniforms, handcuffs, and stress, rather than the caring approach, the right approach that the Main Street outreach van takes today. Well, they can't take today because we call on them, but we won't pay them. And now they're not there. What do you think? Did council make the right decision?